What's up YouTube? Today we're going to be discussing reprints and whether or not they are good or bad for the game. Now, with the release of the new Megatins just around the corner, it's kind of sparked up a new debate as to, how good the cards in the set are and why Konami are deciding to reprint cards of sets that are fairly new. So we're going to go through a little bit of a rundown of the arguments. I'm going to give my opinions as to what I think about reprints, and hopefully in the comment section you guys can leave me some of your feedback. Now, my opinion personally, people who think reprints are bad are just selfish assholes. I'm just going to start with that right off the bat. If you think reprints are bad, then you're just a dick. There's no really any kind of justification around it. If you say something like, oh, but I worked so hard for my rarities, or now any scrub can just play my deck now, then you're just a bad person who's kind of selfish and probably insecure about their level of skill at competitive play. I've tried to come up with as many good reasons as to why reprints are bad, so I've kind of come up with about 4. Now, apologetics. Let's go through them one by one. Argument number 1. This is the only valid argument I've found. Kind of. Now, people who potentially live off of Yu-Gi-Oh as like a business, they'll invest a certain amount of money or trade value into a certain card by trading for it, so on and so forth, and then sell it off at a higher price. So they essentially make money by trading bad cards, getting good cards, essentially ripping people off. So if you're complaining about reprints while doing this, then you kind of don't have anyone to blame but yourself. So a reprint comes along and all that value you invested in that card is now worth nothing, and all those 9, 12 exitons or whatever that a typical binder holds on a page, well, all those exitons you were hoarding in the binder, well, they're not expensive as they once were. Don't get me wrong, exiton isn't worth, $2 or whatever now. It's still expensive, even post-reprint. But that's the same with any job that relies on some kind of a market. You know the risks, and you know it's going to backfire on you one day. And it's just your fault for getting involved in the industry and investing so much responsibility or effort into that one kind of market. It's your fault. You knew, boom and busts happen. It's a typical capitalist system. It's the same with any market. It's the same on Wall Street, and it's the same in Yu-Gi-Oh! So argument number 2. Well, now any scrub can play my deck. It's true, just about any kid can now play, for example, Lightsworn. It's literally just a budget deck. All the good cards, even the extra deck, are going to be reprinted, and don't get me wrong, it's not going to be exactly, super budget. There's still a couple of money cards in there. I mean, it's not going to be that easy to pull like Dracosac, but, a kid's typical sort of like casual Yu-Gi-Oh player with a little bit of lunch money saved up, or just putting aside some extra money from like their paycheck, they could probably get access to a half decent deck now. Is that really a bad thing? Like, genuinely think about it. Is that a bad thing? The bad players, they're just going to keep being bad. It doesn't matter how good their deck is. It doesn't matter what deck they play. A bad player will always be bad, and a bad player will never succeed. And the good players, well, they're just going to keep consistently topping and winning all their respective regionals. They'll qualify to nationals, Euros, and they'll even get to Worlds. It's the same thing. Bad players will stay at the bottom. Top players will always rise to the top, no matter what deck they play or what deck they have access to. Just because everyone else has access to a powerful deck, it doesn't mean the worst player is now going to be on their way to Worlds. That's not the case at all. Just look at, for example, Dueling Network. I know a lot of people say, lol, DN, it's irrelevant, but look at it this way. Anyone has access to any card on DN, right? You can make any deck you want on DN, but format after format, it's the same people over and over who are up there on the leaderboard. It's the same people up there on the top 200. Check the rankings, check it whenever you want. It's the same guys who are like holding the top, 2-3 spots every single format. And why is that? It's because they're good players. They deserve to be up there on the leaderboard. That's just how skillful they are. And it doesn't matter what deck they play, regardless of the format. Saying people don't deserve to get reprints and get access to good cards because they're too poor is like saying kids in Africa don't deserve to become professional football players because they don't have the right equipment to compete at the highest levels. Oh yeah, saying reprints are bad makes you racist too, by the way. That's a joke, by the way. Hopefully you kind of caught that. Argument number 3. It hurts players who paid for the original. How in any way this argument makes any sense, I don't know. This is like saying, oh, it's not fair that the Apple iPhone 4 is now half price when the iPhone 5 was released. That's what it's like saying it's not unfair at all. Those people who bought the iPhone 4 on release, they got to enjoy the luxuries that that phone offered at the time, at the earliest possible time, for the longest period of time. Just because it's now half price when a newer version is released doesn't make it useless, bad, or anything negative at all. It went down in price because newer things have come along. If you care so much about, like, you know, the rarity or that little first edition stamp or that little LVAL on that Exciton, it's still going to be there on yours. Even when the new one gets reprinted in the Megaton, your version is still more rare and worth more. So if that's really all that matters to you, nothing's changed. No matter how many reprints Exciton gets, that LVAL first edition Exciton is always going to be worth whatever that LVAL first edition Exciton is worth. Now, argument number 4. It gives people a reason to stop buying old sets. Okay, so basically, I don't see how this is an argument either. Why are you buying old sets in the first place to pull a card? You know, why are you buying packs or boxes or even full crates just to pull cards you need? It is far more sensible to just buy the singles off eBay and then, you know, buy boxes of an old set to maybe pull that Exciton, or it doesn't make sense. Like, if you need an Exciton, go buy an Exciton. Why are you buying Legacy of the Valiant boxes? It's not likely you're going to pull it from one box, you know, and it's financially more, you know, reliable to just get it off of eBay. Why would anyone buy older sets in the first place? You know, the only reason that people would buy an old set is because, you know, maybe like the thrill of like opening a pack. It's, you know, it's quite fun to open a pack and be like, oh, what have I got? What have I got? Oh, I got this. You know, that's you know, some people enjoy that, and that's fine. But don't complain when you don't, you know, pull what you want. Like, it's your fault. You know it's a random. People also like building collections, I guess. So, you know, if you want to buy a couple of boxes just to fill out your binder with a couple of ultras and stuff that are kind of hard to get from certain sets, and you know, that's cool. But I mean, if you want a card, just buy it. Why are you buying cases upon cases of, you know, some old set that has irrelevant crap that does nothing for the meta anymore? So to conclude, if you think reprints are bad, then you're just an elitist asshole. There's really no good reason as to why reprints could ever conceivably be considered bad, except for the fact that you're just an elitist, and you're probably bad at the game. You just rely on having better cards than the poorer players to win, and you probably don't shower. Let me know what you think about reprints in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Give me a good reason, perhaps. Leave a thumbs up or whatever. Subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.